At the end of every lesson, I like to spend just a couple of minutes with you talking about what I think the big takeaways are from the lesson. In lesson 4, we're doing a lot of work around our SFDs and also starting to identify emotion, what's really under what happened with our fall. And these are, of course, not all of the emotions that we're up against, but some of the most common. We're not wired in the middle of a fall to say, oh, I just experienced a failure at work. I'm overwhelmed with feelings of shame and guilt. And, we're not wired that way. In the middle of a fall, in the middle of the story, we can't really see straight. There's a beautiful quote I want to read to you. It's at the top of Chapter 5 in Rising Strong. It's from Margaret Atwood from her book, Alias Grace. When you are in the middle of a story, it isn't a story at all, but only a confusion, a dark roaring, a blindness, a wreckage of shattered glass and splintered wood. Like a house in a whirlwind, or else a boat crushed by the icebergs or swept over the rapids, and all aboard powerless to stop it. It's only afterwards that it can become anything like a story at all, when you are telling it to yourself or to someone else. This is why the SFD is so important, because when you're in the middle of a story, it isn't a story yet. It's a collection of behaviors and reactions and emotions that we're mostly not aware of. And so the SFD helps us bring into awareness what we're experiencing and what we're feeling. This is a time in the course where I want to say to you, if this is feeling overwhelming, if you're thinking, okay, there's something big under this for me that I'm not sure I can get to by myself, reach out and ask for support. Whether you are an individual doing this on your own or with family and friends, or you're in an organization, there is support. There are people who are trained in this work, they get this work, they speak this language, they have this research in their bones. Asking for help is an absolute power move. It is probably the greatest act of courage. If it's frustrating for you when the people around you don't ask for help when they need it, that's because probably you're not asking for help yourself. I know that I've had to have help around this work, especially when these things keep coming up over and over again. And help can be a therapist, or help for me sometimes is a leadership coach. Someone who can help me talk through decisions and just sit there as I implode around my SFD and help me really answer those tough questions around it. The ability to move through this lesson and understand how this works moves us right to the doorstep of the revolution, where change becomes very immediate. One of my favorite things about Rising Strong out of all my books is this is one of those books where people email and send us letters that say, I read it, I started thinking about the story I was making up the day after I finished reading it or in the middle of the book, and change started happening right away. So we're here now, and we need to start putting it into practice. We'll talk more about that during the revolution.